Hello everyone. Phoenix61 here with your legend shenanigans for the day. We are rocking the Cleveland tonight. So our tier 7, sort of our more HE, higher flying, bullety, spammy American cruisers. At least that's the way I play them. So we're spawn. Excuse me, man. I am still getting over my disease, my sickness. So sorry for the cough in the voice here this last couple weeks. But yeah, we're in the Cleveland, right? We've spawned on the A flank here, and we've kind of got too many allied ships coming this way. And then my other two cruisers that are out in front of us, look at the mini-map, they're way out there, which I think is a little strange, right? Because if not too much comes out over on this flank, right, they've taken the long route and are going to be kind of out of play here. And so I'm going to get close enough to here where I kind of suspect if there's enemy ships doing the same thing on our side as what we're doing, we can trip our radar and pick these guys up a little bit early. And as you notice, we don't pick anything up as we trip this radar. I think it's 9 kilometers or 9.9, probably 9, right? We don't get anything. So we're going to be free and clear to go into the A cap and grab this zone. You also can see there's no destroyers in this game, right? So that's the other thing too. We don't have to. It's kind of like a plus and a minus, right? Like we don't have to worry about destroyers, but then we also don't have destroyers out in front potentially spotting. But anyway, so we'll go into the zone. We get a D7P spotted here. Probably getting picked up by the cruisers that went way wide, and then they pick up this Colorado that's way off in the distance out here too. So we'll actually be able to pick on these guys a little bit here as we go in for the zone cap. And then if we needed to, right, we could use a little bit of a sonar cheese trickery to move up closer to that D7P if he does go undetected, right? So now he's unspotted. We won't be able to shoot him, but we could potentially spot him for our allies by going up close to him and then tripping the sonar. It'll pick him up through the... I know that's not how sonar works in real life, right? But like within the game, you can kind of cheese it and pick people up through walls. So we'll take advantage of that if we get close enough here. So I do also want to prioritize capping the zone. So, and we'll see. Like I'm looking at the mini map too, and my cruisers and battleship out there are moving around to the outside. So they may just spot him organically here anyway. I'm not sure why this guy's telling me to get back. Like there's literally nothing up here. Yeah, we can see, so now, yeah, we can see somebody spotted the D7P here, and he is trying to hug the island here. So I was just checking my sonar detection range, which is 4.4, and so we can, if he does go unspotted here, we'll trip sonar to keep him spotted for my teammates here. Hopefully they can finish him off. Alright, we get the zone cap. Waiting on those guys to finish off that D7P. We could potentially come around, right? This is a little bit risky here, but I know, like, we can literally see the rest of their ships have been spotted all the way over on the other flank, so we're just super out. You know, we've got too many of our ships on this side, and they've got too many of their ships on that side, right? So, and then he did go, the cruiser, the D7P did go undetected, so we tripped the sonar to keep him spotted. Right, and if you were suspecting torpedoes and from or destroyers, right, you'd maybe make the argument for saving that sonar. But we're rocking fully packed. We'll have 2 more if we need them. But yeah, that's kind of I wasn't worried about using the sonar for that purpose, right? Because we're probably not going to need it for a little while here. But I'm going to go, this is maybe a little bit too pushy here, but I'm going to go and see if we can try and sneak into the B cap, into the B hole here, and help capture. We are only up 1 ship, but they're all going all around the outside there, right? So, and then firing my guns here is probably a mistake. It does get me spotted, and you can see we get we're using a commander trait that shows how many people are locked onto us. So all your 4 ships over there locked onto us here. So I'm trying to duck behind this island to see if we can go undetected, but we're going to take a little bit of hits here. And then, yeah, we do go unspotted here, so I'm going to try and take advantage of that. It looks like nobody has line of sight on us through that little crack there. And then I just noticed too, the cruiser behind me drops smoke screen, but it's going to just take me way too long to slow down and back up into it, so I decided to just floor it forward here instead of, like, I don't want to be broadside to these guys, right, as we come around this corner, as we get spotted. But their cruiser over there does me a favor and drops his rolling smoke as well, so then we go undetected, right, so I was a little bit lucky there. We'll take our shots here at the New Orleans. You can see, like, I use, you know, unless I've got, like, up close and personal, you know, really good broadside angles on, like, cruisers or something, right? I'm, for the most part, using HE shells with these ships, and that's how I've built into them. New Orleans moving faster than I suspected here. We'll have to lead him a little bit better here. Still hit him on the back, but somebody finished him off, so that's fine. Right, so this Amalfi, we could switch to AP if he's going to stay angled like that. Right, he's up close enough here. So we'll try it, but he does start turning out. So we switch back to the HE. Yeah, we get all 5 of those shell hits bounced, so ricochets with no damage. It's because he angled. And we can see torpedoes coming in, that's fine. The cruiser that's out in front of us on our team, right, he's not going to survive, but he spotted all that stuff for us. So this is what I was saying, right, I could have saved that sonar for this situation, but we end up not needing it. I'll damage con the fire just because I know I'm going to go undetected for a little bit here, as this Charles Martel went behind the island, and then the, I think it's a Picardy, right, this battleship off to our, or out in front of us here, off to the left on the screen. Looks like he's slowing down too, so we'll be unspotted for a little bit here. I'm going to floor it forward. I don't want to take on a Picardy all by my lonesome, but if we can get some cheesy fire hits on him, right, we'll do that. And then we break line of sight with him, so we go undetected again there. That's a little bit of a decision point here, right? We could... we got pretty good range built into the ship, right? So I could shoot from just about anywhere here if you look at the little mini map. But I was like trying to decide whether to stay here as these guys come around or push into like the decap and get the zone as well. But now we've got a pretty big ship advantage anyway, so it's not too big of a deal what we decide to do. But I end up like I'm trying to do like everything, and so I end up not paying close enough attention to where I'm going here. We end up running aground. Right, so I'm like trying to like slow down, but it's like I might as well just floor it and use the island to stop and then start backing up, so that's what we'll do. But yeah, it takes us out of play here. Yeah, so you notice, so we're going to end up with a pretty decent XP score on this game, even though at least right now we don't have too much damage, right? There's a little bit more out there to farm here, but we've got 2 zone caps, right? So, and then we're going to go in for D as well. And so since we don't have destroyers, we're getting these zone caps. And so that's going to boost we're pretty good XP score at the end of this game.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Yeah, if you look at the rest of my team on the mini-map, right, like, they went and took out the carrier and all that other stuff, right, that was up north, but now they're just so far out of play here. And then we're not detected, right, we're just outside of spotting range from this Picardy, but we're able to spot him, so I'm going to angle away a little bit here, and then, we've got the numbers, so I'm not too worried if we do happen to go down, but we'll do some work on him here. New Orleans as well, he's going to be a little bit tougher to hit. So he's far out and maneuvering. But he takes a shot at us, that's fine. We've got, his AP, we're backing up, we're angled, should be fine. Just barely missed him here, right? So I was picking on him just because we tripped that fire on the Picardy. But since we're like not really getting the hits that we want, and then they hit us and reset the zone cap. There's a battleship on our team right behind us. That's helping cap too. But yeah, now you can see both these guys are locked onto us. So we'll just keep moving. They're going to keep resetting the zone. It's fine. We'll get it eventually here. But like I said, right, like I'm not too worried about losing the game, right, if we do die. So I'm just taking full advantage of the fact that we got the numbers. I'm trying to do double duty here. Cap the zone, get some damage on these ships, speed this game along. And then he's not looking at us anymore, right? He's not locked onto us anymore, so I'm going to make a turn here and push up on him. Still going to try and prioritize capping this zone here. They keep hitting us and resetting it. Rest of our team's moving in behind us too, so it should go faster here now. But it is kind of nice knowing that they're not looking at us and not locked onto us. For the most part, you can tell just by looking at where their guns are pointed, but it is nice to have that reassurance there. So we'll finally get the zone cap, and we'll chase down the last cruiser here. I think we end up winning on points here if they don't pick them up quick enough here. But yeah, we're at 911 points, 915. Right, I don't play these ships too much. I don't particularly, like, they're good ships, I just don't particularly do well with them. You know, usually, right? So I think I need it for either, like, the Louisiana, maybe the Louisiana, or I think I'm working through, like, an old Minotaur Bureau project, too, that I didn't need to, I got Minotaur some other way, so I never did the Bureau project. But I've, like, pretty much done every Bureau project in all of existence, right? So I'm waiting for the next ones to come out with the next updates or whatever, so hope to see. But yeah, that's why I was playing some of the regular tech tree ships this past week. So yeah, he does get spotted, but yeah, we're gonna win on points here, and then we'll take a peek at the leaderboard, and I'll go through the commander build too, just to show you how I have it set up. It is kind of nice now, right? If you're so Mary J. East River, right? That's just a Commander Geist. I think I'm using Norman Scott on here. But yeah, 2,800 XP puts us at the top of the leaderboard here. And walked away with 245,000 in credit. And then here's how I have the mod slots built out, right? So aiming system, and then I like propulsion. You could actually go steering gears, right? And then concealment, and then I am using main battery reload. Yeah, this was probably doing for my bureau there, yep. And then, yeah, so Mary J. East River is just a commander, guys, right? So this is actually, we'll go all the way to the top to show Norman Scott, right? And so what's nice now is, right, he's really good for both lines of American cruisers, right? He's a really good commander, really good cruiser commander that's free, right? So for this tech tree, right, I've built out to, you know, HE shell damage and a little bit of defense, right? That's that armed and ready. That was what was telling us whether we had people locked onto us or not. You could use refill station or fully packed here. You do you. And then we've got reload time and dispersion, and then 4-net here for more HE shell damage, right? So like I said, with this tech tree of cruisers, right, I'll show you which one we're talking about, right? So if we go to the American ships, right, it's this... The top row here with like Pensacola, New Orleans, Baltimore, Buffalo, right? Those are all a little bit more. I lean more towards using AP shell damage with those ships, right? Like Baltimore, for example. So, and I have a different commander, right? We have Agilane Baltimore, right? And part of why I liked having other commanders previously is, right, because you could use one commander for one tech tree and one commander for another. But now with the presets, right, you could make a new preset for the like Pensacola line of ships, and you would just build it out like this, right? Like you would build it out with these, beyond, with beyond range and these, AP shell damage modifiers, right? Like, so that's what I would do. You could go fully packed or refill station, you do you. I tend to lean towards fully packed on the higher tiers because you get that more, you get those more consumables, right? You get a little bit more tech. And then you just, for inspirations, you just build into AP damage, right? So you could do that. So it's nice with the presets now. You could assign one preset for that top row of cruisers for the Americans and, use Norman Scott, be completely free to play and still have a really good build and not have to, like, tweak it depending on which tech tree you're playing each time, right? You just use the presets. But that's going to be our video for the day, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're following the channel. I try to do Legends videos daily. Yeah, so if you are following, we'll see you guys tomorrow. If you're interested, I do occasionally live stream. I try to live stream at least once a week, depending on my mood, but my schedule's kind of random, and I'm Central Time US, so it's usually evenings, right? So if you're interested in that, push the bell, right? Get notifications for the channel, and you can see the pop-up when we do go live. But thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time.